Good morning, everybody. Hoping everybody's having a fantastic week. So yesterday we had the FOMC. Mr. Powell did absolutely, well, the Fed decided to go ahead and cut another 25 basis points, but the market's so bearish. Why? Well, the only thing that I can assume is the reason, or one main reason, is the dollar is strong right now. The dollar is it's going in the opposite direction. It's literally going in the direction we assumed it was going to go. Where did my dollar go? Okay. Let me pull up the DXY real fast. I thought I had everything ready to go, but apparently not. So here's the dollar. You can see it's breaking out here to the upside. It's still in a multi-month range. It's got to break out and trend above August's high before you can consider it being a legit breakout. And then beyond that, it's hard to say what's going to happen. Last year, the Fed started cutting interest rates late in the year, and the dollar actually moved up for the entire quarter. So the Fed started cutting interest rates in here, and you can see how strong the dollar was for Q4 2024. And then when the Q1 2025 opened, that's when the dollar went into the bearish mode here. But yesterday, the Fed did say a few things that could be construed as hawkish. Like, he will not get off of the bandwagon that inflation is hot. And it's not. I mean, inflation goes up because obviously the government prints too much money. So inflation is always going to go up. But as far as the CPI, it's really not. I mean, it's okay. It's not at their 2% target. But I mean, it's not cooking and pushing hotter every single month. So, but they're assuming or insinuating, I should say, that it will. All right. And they're using tariffs to justify that. So that's why. I mean, essentially, you have the markets, even the Bloomberg guy, the guy that works for Bloomberg, literally asked Powell, aren't you afraid that by cutting interest rates, that's going, even though the markets are already at all-time highs, this is going to cause the market to just continue to go up and up and up and up forever? I mean, he didn't ask it in simplistic terms like that, but that's pretty much basically the extent of his question, right? And Powell said that's not really what he's there to do, and that doesn't really, it's none of his business. He doesn't dictate prices. But other than that, he had a pretty hawkish stance. So based on the fact that this is a bull market and we are in bullish market conditions, why is Bitcoin pulling back off of the highs? Well, Bitcoin's been at the highs and been making fresh all-time highs pretty much since May, right? And then it made a new all-time high in July, then in August, and then again in November. October. And then, yeah, it's just been in this 4-month range. And we took out the range lows. We did bounce, but we found resistance here at September's open. As you can see, we liquidated this. We traded back up to there again the next day, and that's where resistance is. So I'm not loving this price action, but at the same time, like, I'm not super concerned yet. I do not like it when we're trading under the weekly 21, because that to me is a bearish signal for me. It's not necessarily a bearish signal like across the market, but for me, that's a bearish signal. If you can't stay above the 21 on a weekly, something's wrong. So clearly people are pricing that in. Yesterday, we did see a little bit more extensive selling. If we go look at yesterday's inflow-outflow metrics on ETFs, you can see that pretty much all week you've seen minor inflows. But then yesterday, 470, that's pretty extensive. That's definitely a pretty good sell-side delta. And today we're seeing a sell-side move. The trade that we would have been looking for shorts off of yesterday's midpoint, real close to the weekly 21 exponential. That trade's already taken place. That trade took place this morning. Now, people in my Discord were asking if they could buy 4-hour support. And I essentially said you could. You did get a bullish reaction off of last week's low, but as long as you're under the weekly 21, the daily 21, you're under the weekly VWAP, so near-term order flow is bearish. It's typically not the best time to look for longs. Like, I would rather that the weekly VWAP be underpriced and then look to buy a support test. You know what I mean? Because, like, this is your weekly trend. Right here's your week open. Now, if you only focus on this week's order flow, it's literally been bearish all week. It's been a fairly simple bearish trade. Like, the only time, like, right here would have been the buy, right? This is 4-hour support as well. This should have held. Even though it's under the VWAP, right? This is where we would have wanted to see support hold, and we wanted to see price move up after that, and it didn't. It set in a new low, it set in new support, and then broke that support as well yesterday morning. So Bitcoin was weak all morning in anticipation that they were going to get a rate cut, which is bullish, typically bullish. So it's a buy the rumor, sell the news. And in Bitcoin's situation here, it's been just sell the news. You haven't seen the buy the rumor come back into play yet. And that's what's concerning me. Now, with that being said, as long as we're trading above July's low, you are still in a 4-month range. So at any moment, price could catch support. Right now, you are literally trading at monthly support. Right now. All right, that white line is going to be monthly support. It's literally what you're testing this second. So my question to you is this, simply. Is this going to hold support, or is it going to roll over from here? I mean, it's down here is where it needs to go to liquidate. But if it breaks down below here, it's threatening a deeper correction, a bigger pullback. So the very near term is saying that we are bearish here. I took this signal this morning. So when Pingu bounced really hard, or not Pingu, sorry, when Bonk bounced really hard this morning, it did something similar to Bitcoin. You can see Bonk has a little bit of a trend line at play here. I don't trade trend lines. I only use horizontal levels because I don't trade them, right? I look to trade other aspects. But anyway, I saw the same bounce, but I'm still looking at the same technical signals, and the technical signals are weak right now. So when Bonk bounced hard here this yesterday morning, or this morning, it was during London, I shorted it. I took the short right there. The signal is to be short, so I'm short Bonk. Now, this asset right here is going to be the big mover on the day. Jelly. Again, this was a big mover not too long ago. Right back here, back in early October, this thing exploded to the upside. It's exploding to the upside again. You can see on the 4-hour RSI, we're not quite overcooked yet. 93.55 is overcooked, but it's not as overcooked as 95 or 97, right? Those are severe overcooked areas that I want to start looking for shorts. But anyway, I can start looking for shorts here at 0.14321. If it trades up into that area, I'll pull it up over here on the chart. If it trades up into this area and rejects, I'll look 93.65. I want you to look at this though. Over here on the 1 hour, you're at 97.62. That is way over. Let's see. Let's go back in time. Last time you got up into these regions was early October. And it looks like you got a little bit higher over down on the hourly, about 98. So we're pushing up into that region here. So, I mean, just look at this disgustingness. This thing has literally been so bullish. It's insane. Looking at the 4 hour alone, we've got 11 straight up close candles, or bars if you prefer bars. I like bars too. I'm okay with either. But you've gotten 11 straight up closes here, 4 hour candles. Very, very bullish on deltas. So, yeah, I mean, you're literally trying to short a very strong asset, but that's the level that I would be waiting for to be liquidated before I would try to short. I watched it a little bit this morning, earlier this morning, and I did take a short on it, and I did get stopped out. I took a short right before I went to bed, and then I got back up 15 minutes ago. So let's add an alert here. And yeah, let's go back and finish off Bitcoin's analysis. But so, I mean, if you want to buy this, I guess you could. It is monthly support, but my only concern is it has not, the buyers have not been able to do anything with this, even though other markets have been extremely bullish. I mean, all your risk markets, NQ, SP500, and IWM, all three of those things are up, and up huge. I do know. So here's the 2 year. The 2 year has been going up. It's obviously saying that the yields were a little bit too done. So, I mean, the big spike came from yesterday's rate cut. You would expect that would be a bearish trade. But since it's spiked and going up, then the only thing that you could say is 3.5% on the 2 year is about where it's going to be. So you can expect it to build in some sort of a range here. I don't know where the range high would be, but I would say if it could reject at 3.67% right in there, I could be a seller. I don't think you're going to see this thing go back up into this region, not the 2 year, but clearly you're pulling back. So they're using the interest rate decision to go ahead and stop everybody out. And then when they're done stopping people out, it'll probably roll back over and head back to the bottom edge of the range. So this will be the first area to watch for me on the 2 year to potentially become a seller. And the only way you can trade this is to buy the 2 year bond. So instead of selling the yield here, you would be looking to be a buyer on ZT1, the bond futures. And roughly about the same area, but there is a gap there, an unfilled gap there. So maybe wait for that gap to be filled. Wait for the gap to be filled, and then the very lowest I could be a buyer would be there. So if the markets stop going down in these areas, then I would be a buyer on the bond. But let's go ahead and go look at Nvidia, because that we're also going to get earnings. Have been getting earnings this week. You're going to get earnings today on Apple post market. You're going to get earnings on Nvidia next month, but Microsoft, let's see here. Oh wait, we got earnings. We got earnings yesterday on Microsoft. So is that what's going on here? No, not on it. Nvidia is getting massively overdone to the upside. People are it's just a pullback. That's all it is. But for Bitcoin, it suggested something different. Amazon beat on earnings, or sorry, Google beat on earnings. Plus, Google keeps having news about quantum computing, so Google is just on an absolute tear. An absolute tear. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed market out there. Just be very careful. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it rolling over as long as I've got shorts on. I was trying to position myself for the dollar breakout as well as the move lower. So basically what I did is I bought the USD Swissy. I'm sorry, I was trying to get prepared for either a dollar move higher or a dollar move lower. So I did the same trade. I essentially shorted USD Swiss and shorted Euro. The USD Swiss trade obviously got stopped out, but the Euro USD trade is in good shape. It's working. So my short position is roughly right about here. So it's starting to work here. And I've been sitting in this thing for a couple days at this point. But I was looking for it to find resistance up here because the near-term structure, as you can see with the moving averages, has shifted back to no longer super bullish. It's pulling back, right? Pulling back. You're under the daily 21. We traded up into the daily 21. This is when we started looking for the short. And now that short is playing out. So we're doing okay. It's just there's not much in terms of looking for fresh trade setups coming here at the New York session. Here is a Bitcoin volatility metric that I found called BVIV. It's similar to the VIX. So instead of looking at the VIX to basically get volatility metrics for Bitcoin trades, this is actually the Bitcoin 30-day vol metric. And we got the spike there. So this is still elevated. And as long as this is elevated, right, this is when we got the news, really. So you can see that it's been kind of going crazy since the midpoint of September. It's literally been going up. That is threatening Bitcoin's upside. This will go down when Bitcoin starts to go back lower, but I mean, obviously, or go back up, but it doesn't really matter. But I just wanted you guys to know that there is a Bitcoin volatility. So the volatility started to climb midpoint of September. That's why right there, because I had a massive move to the upside. All right. Yeah. Oh, we'll see if it can find support here. I guess I could take a long here, even though I have a near-term downside bias, just in case, because it is right at monthly support. There's no liquidation here of any, like that would matter, right? Of course, it's liquidating people, but let me find it. It's not really liquidating to any massive extent. So this is the year, 1 year. I like to look at that because it shows me where the holes are. You're in a hole here. A giant hole. So there's not much to liquidate down there. But you start to really find more liquidations at around 105. 105.6, we'll call it. That's down here. So it needs to hold support here. So you could be a buyer here. Let me pull up Bitcoin and I'll take it with you. All right, I'm getting Bitcoin pulled up so I can take the trade with you. So basically what I'm going to do, I guess, I would rather wait for that, but I don't know, man. Monthly support. We're at it already. There's the bell. All right, so first white line is monthly support. And then this is the liquidation point. Buying it here would be risky. I'll put it out 108.232. And we're going to open it Oh, let me fix this leverage slider before I forget again. All right, perfect. Now I'll start easy, and then we'll go from there. We'll work our way into it. We'll take the fill if we get the fill, and then if it runs down here and liquidates, we'll look for a fill down there. Taking a fill here with a smaller amount is just to ensure that we don't eat a big loss, knowing that there's a huge chance it's going to liquidate the London session before it just takes off. Right? Okay, so let me pull this up on the hourly real quick. It was an hour before the London session. So one could argue and say that Bitcoin was sold during the London session. So it looks like it was bought up early on in the Asian session, and then they sold it. And then it was bought up again into the London session, and then they sold it because 3 a.m. is 2 to 3 a.m. 2 a.m. is the London Open. But generally we give it an hour before or an hour after is okay. So if the top or the high swing comes in at 3 a.m. or even 4 a.m., you can say London sold it, right? So that's what's currently going on right there. London sold it. New York is opening into support. Oh, I mean, you need to get above this before I can even start to be like, okay, this looks like it's being repaired and it looks good, and I will start buying support tests. As long as it's under it, to me, it looks weak. I'm going to go ahead and take profits on the bonk short. Just because, I mean, it's my daily goal is 300. I'm at 4. But something here that I want you to see, here's the watch list that we currently keep on watch for the most asked for crypto assets, and then a couple main stocks like MicroStrategy, SPX, Tesla, Intel, Circle, Gold. Look at Fartcoin. It's down 13.2%. To me, that doesn't smell like I should be buying any support. You know what I mean? When Fartcoin is down bigger than its average. Its average is anywhere between 5 and 10% per day. So you're already down more than one standard deviation. So it's not just down, it's down strongly, like it's down hard. So, and then Ethereum's down almost 3%. Bitcoin's down 1.5%. So in theory, if today's going to be a nasty red day, you're going to see a down day that you could see 4%. And then if that's what the sellers are looking at, then they probably won't have any problems at all of selling down into here anywhere. I wouldn't be a seller not down here. Obviously, the trade has already happened, right? You should have been a seller on the pop. You sell resistance, you buy support. You don't want to be a buyer of support in a downtrend. We're not trending down yet. We're still in a 4-month range, but we're down near the bottom edge of that range. So you don't want to really be a seller down here in these areas. But if you are going to be a seller down here in these areas, it needs to be on spikes, on pops, on upswings. The same way that I did on right here, right? It doesn't, you can see it here on the hourly. So on the hourly, we got one, and then that's when I sold it. Boom, sell. You're under last week's open. This would also be weekly support. So that was an easy sell for me. A very, very, very simple trade. Like, Everybody that was awake during London session should have been short. Bonk. So easy. Easy peasy. Greasy. All right. But yeah, that's what we got. I just took the fill on Bitcoin, so we're probably also going to take the stop. Let me mark out that 4-hour swing low, because it needs to stop going down once it liquidates that point. If it doesn't, then we're probably in for a nasty red day. And I do want to keep my eye on Jelly. To be honest, it could already be done. You could be looking for shorts at 13889 as long as you're not closing 5-minute candles higher than this close here. My problem with it is it's making higher lows. So, I mean, this could be looked at as a bearish flagging formation or, an ascending wedge. But I would rather short the highs and not chase it to the downside, because it's moving so much that you're going to lose a lot on 20x leverage if it just goes right back to there. Could that have been the liquidation move and it's over? Could have been. Jelly is also supporting shorts. The funding rate is supporting shorts to the tune of 0.15% every 4 hours. So it's probably getting ready to go bye-bye pretty damn soon. But I would much rather sell it on swing highs, not into what is potentially support. I'd like to see it break back to the upside here, liquidate this, and then I would be willing to short it up here. What size of a move is that just to get back up there? It's just a 4% move, so it's nothing major. Yeah, Jelly isn't moving that bad. All right, so the Bitcoin is done. Here's your liquidation now. It literally needs to stop going down from this point, or it's over with. It's going to be a nasty down day. And we shouldn't be trying to continuously buy it. There is liquidation. Just let it happen. Be calm. Be calm here. I did eat a stop, obviously. If you're new to this channel, the way I do my risk is I risk up to $100 a day for my losing trades, but I split them up into threes. So each stop that I eat is going to be $30, because sometimes we don't catch it on the first attempt, right? This way, if I get stopped out 3 times, my max loss has been hit of $90 or $100, because I'm looking to make 300 if I'm right. I did look for the correlation coefficient on DXY to see if it was inversely correlated to the dollar, and it's not. It's almost inversely correlated, but it's actually leaving the correlation behind. You've got bullish deltas happening here on the 15-second, but I guarantee on the 1 minute and above is going to be bearish delta. Yeah, the deltas are extremely bearish and trending. I mean, the deltas are extremely bearish here on the 15-second too, because you're extremely below zero. But you are seeing what looks like bullish deltas happening under this liquidation of the London traders. But as of right now, it looks like New York is looking to take this thing lower, because that's a lower close. There's no point to buy this while it's trending under. That's why I haven't gotten back in yet. It's trending under the last liquidation point that we would have expected. So I can't buy it while it's trading under that. It's threatening a deeper push. And if it's going to go down lower all day, I don't want to be a buyer all day. You know what I mean? I don't want to get stopped out of this thing every time I get long. Good stuff. Water. Yum. I was going to do the live stream for the meeting yesterday, but I forgot that I had a doctor's appointment. It's just a random or standard checkup. I do a quarter or once every quarter checkup. That's all it was. It wasn't nothing massive, but I had already rescheduled it and I didn't want to reschedule it again. That's the reason why we didn't do the live stream. There really wasn't a whole lot that could have been done even during the live stream if I would have done it, because price action was just impossible to trade yesterday. I got long yesterday morning on Fartcoin. While Bitcoin isn't done liquidating here, let's go look at Fartcoin real quick just so I can show you. So Wednesday morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning, so that would have put me long right in here on Fartcoin. And then the 2 o'clock news came out, or not the news, but, the cut. And then it dumped and stopped me out of that long. Or here, sorry, that's 2 o'clock. So it dumped, stopped me out of the long, then moved up. If you remember, the last time we did a live stream, we shorted Fartcoin here. So anybody that was still holding Fartcoin shorts from Tuesday's trade, they got stopped out. Then it rolled over, and here we are trending lower. So it would have been a wash day anyway, right? It was a wash for me. It would have been a wash for you. More than likely, unless you got lucky and shorted here, which I probably wouldn't have because of that VWAP. But if you did, kudos. You can just sit in that position. It's working for you. And there's not much support under you. Now, even though I don't have a major objective level down here until we get down to 3181, that doesn't mean it can't find support in the middle of these areas. Clearly it can. Like here's last week's open. It didn't find support right there. It found it just under, right? It built in support here, then it started to trade away from it. So clearly that can happen anywhere in here. I can't predict where these things are going to find support at. And there is a bearish candle right there, so it could absolutely stop going down here. I never know where they're going to stop. So, but yeah, that yesterday's trade was just kind of a wash day. All right, Bitcoin still trending under the liquidation point, and our deltas are extremely bearish here. So this is probably not going to be a long day, guys. Looking at the Japanese yen, it looks weak, though. That's the best case scenario. But risk is also getting beat up. The S&P 500 is getting absolutely beat up this morning. But it could be a buying op. So let me buy S&P real quick. No. Because it's testing the VIX yearly open again. If it rejects here, I do want to be long S&P. What is this? Where are... Uh-oh. There they are. All right, good. Yeah, I want to buy calls down here when the VIX is testing the yearly open. It's kind of a dangerous trade because you've got Apple earnings after the bell, but we'll see what happens. I'm only going to put on like a small trade, a 1-day call option. That way, if it gets killed, the max I can lose is $100. But clearly, I would get out of it before I lose that. It's moving around a little bit too much right now, so I'll wait. I need it actually to test Monday's mid again. Otherwise, I'd be chasing it here. In Monday's mid, that's almost yeah, it's almost 20 points away. I don't want to get long up here because I want to only risk like 5 points. I want to get long down here. Then when it pops up 10, I can take profits. If it pops up 10. Gold seems to be finding a bit of near-term support, or GLD does. The GLD will be a short again in the 370 to 380 spot if it finds resistance up there. 377-ish. It's also going to be the monthly mid, or really close to the monthly mid. It's spot on the monthly mid. Sweet. A 377, if it rejects that price, I can look for shorts again on GLD. Yeah, Bitcoin is just pushing deeper. Not great. I don't love it, but we'll see what it does here. We can get long here. Obviously, our stop will not be low day. Mine won't. Because if we're trading under this price, I don't want to be holding longs. It's as simple as that. So my stop is going to be $30. Period. It always is. It always will be. Okay, so let's... I guess you could have looked at that. I didn't see that. That is August or September's low. Yeah, we could have looked at September's low. We've already liquidated September's low. We liquidated it back here, then there, then there. So it's not a fresh liquidation. It's just a manage risk from this level. That's all that would constitute. What's up, Philo? Bro, crypto markets have been bearish like crazy. Okay. Altcoins keep making new lows against their Bitcoin pairs every tiny pump is sold into, and has been for a year. Alt season has not happened. Okay. I respect your opinion. I do. I've been bearish Farcoin since what, June? So I'm not arguing with you. Nothing wrong with horizontals, as that's pure PA. I agree. Morning, afternoon, evening all. What's up, the Agile Leader? 107051 is my target for Bitcoin. 107151. 051. Pick out the low would be fun, but it seems very bearish to me going to 97K, retesting the 50 week. You could be right again, right? It absolutely could be looking to do something like that. 100%. Nobody knows what price is going to do. It's not about predicting price. I'm not trying to teach you guys how to predict what the markets are going to do. The 50 is up here. You said the 50 week. My bad. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's possible, but that's a long ways from where we are right now. I wouldn't expect that to happen today or tomorrow. All right. I'm getting long Bitcoin again. And that'll be my last attempt today at it. Yeah, we've been shorting like crazy all of these things. We've been all over it, like all over it. I'm not going to set and call an alt season. This thing was super bullish back in July, but it lost that. It lost that momentum. We've literally been shorting bonk and fart coins since June, July, August of this year. Pingu, we literally shorted Pingu the day the news happened. On this channel, live, we shorted here. And we caught all of that. Every bit of that. But the better trade would have been to be a buyer down here. Because I caught 80%. The buyers caught 300% back to the upside. So I would say, even to be fair, with where it is right now, it's still up. It is. It's 233% up from that low. So the short, even though it looks like the better trade, the buy here would have been the better trade. But yeah, we've been shorting this thing. We've been all over it. So yeah. Bitcoin is a little bit different than altcoins. These especially are garbage. They have no utility. They're absolutely worthless. They're speculation vehicles only. But they move a lot. They offer intraday volatility. And as traders, that's what we need to capitalize on to make money. That intraday volatility. What I really love about Bonk coin or Bonk here is it's only down 6%. Pingu's down 8. Fartcoin's down 12. Bonk is only down 6. Now, either people are buying Bonk based on this trend line. I would say that's probably the case. And it just hasn't broken down yet. But if it does break down, I'd say there's another 6% that'll be captured on Bonk to the downside today. Maybe. I mean, it's already a bigger move than you got yesterday during FOMC. So you've already seen a pretty extensive move to the downside. This could be the low of day. But if it isn't, if this is going to be a blood red day, which it appears to be, then this is probably going to drop much further today, which is why I'm so hesitant about even buying Bitcoin here. Oh, don't mistake me getting long for ignorance or anything like that. It isn't. We make money. We know what we're doing over here. It's fun. We love it. But yeah, it is concerning that there's such a disconnect between the Bitcoin and the risk markets. Because Bitcoin is looked at as the riskiest asset class to investors. So they're looking at Bitcoin and saying, well, we're not believing that risk markets should be at all-time highs because Bitcoin isn't. If Bitcoin was making fresh all-time highs, then everything would look normal. But Bitcoin hasn't been making fresh all-time highs since the middle of September. October, beginning of October. The middle of September is when the VIX or the Bitcoin VIX started to spike. To be fair, that BVIV is not going to act like the VIX because the VIX and the S&P are inversely correlated. BVIV and Bitcoin are two, I guess, but it started to spike to the upside through the middle of September all the way to October, and Bitcoin was climbing to going into the beginning of October. The BVIV should have been going down through here, and it wasn't, so they're not 100% inversely correlated. Sellers are probably going to want to beat it down here. You're not super extended from your 4-hour 21, and like that reaction this morning is just a flawless short opportunity. And it does suck when we come into the New York session and the daily range high to low is already as big as the previous day on an FOMC day, and it's a down day, and you're like at the lows, because you definitely want to buy it if you have a bullish bias, but it's not advisable. Like, I wouldn't advise anybody buy Bitcoin today if I was a money manager. But since I only manage my money, I can be a buyer because I know I'm not going to lose more than $100 on this trade today. And if I'm right, I'll make $300. But I don't feel good today. Like, I don't like the trade. To me, there's not a setup here. It's like a gamble. The setup is a sell. And it happened during the London session. Yeah, it's starting to fall back away from that level, so I'm getting out again. I'm not gonna set in it while it's pushing below there. That was a $17 loss. It doesn't look good for the buyers today. Ooh, coffee. Yay. I have one, baby. It's right there. Thank you. Ooh, you know what you could bring me? Yeah. Thank you, baby. Ah, good stuff. All right, Bitcoin, what are you going to do here? VIX still up on the day. S&P, though, man. Urgh. The S&P's up freaking 30 points off the lows. That's a massive move, dude. 68, 41, almost 80 points. 82 would be 40 points off the lows. But we do have volatility today. Look at it go. Here's Ethereum on the day lows. Yucky. Under yesterday, this is nothing. Way under weekly demand or supply, sorry. Last week's open. Way under it. Yeah, the same trade happened on Ethereum as well. That would have been the sell. I mean, your moving average structure is telling you to be careful being a buyer at support when price is under the moving averages. When you're under the 50, even though this is the 4-hour, the daily principle still applies. Like, if I don't want to be a buyer on something that's trending under the 50 on the RSI, then that means on the 4-hour, I don't really want to either, unless it's a trap. So, like, the last point of Ethereum that you could have said, if it's a trap, I can be a buyer if it's a trap, is here. If this was the trap move right here under the 50, you wanted to see it go up from there. Boom, 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 boom. It didn't. So that tells you it's not a trap. The trap candle was resistance. It's so like, this is a pretty easy short. All right. Trying to find a bit of near-term support. That's a disgusting looking daily range. There's your day open right there. Yeah, super crazy. Big down move. Then new high of day. Then new low of day. So clearly order flow for today is bearish. Has been bearish. We got a nice close back above, but it couldn't hold it. So we'll give it a few minutes here to see what it wants to do. Let's go look at that indicator on like a more near term. Like say a month. Oh, there's a ton of liquidity under it. So never mind. On the near term, there's plenty of liquidity down there to go get. You're not in a big wide, like there's not much liquidity through here, but there's a lot of liquidity right in here. And then more here. And there, you get it. There's quite a bit. And then lastly, let's just check the liquidation map. Oof. Yeah. This doesn't look super good for shorts. I tell you what, I don't like that for downside continuation, but I mean, it could go all the way down to 105.4, right? That's a pretty drastic drop. Then it drops off and is real thin. But if this arrow gets over here and liquidates all of this stuff, that's going to be a $2,500 loss on Bitcoin. So typically, if I'm going to look to be a buyer on a down day, I want it to be down like 3 standard deviations. If we're down 3 standard deviations, then I could be like looking for that dead cat bounce trade. But we're just at 1 standard deviation here. From high to low, that's 1 standard deviation. 14-day trailing average for Bitcoin is almost $4,000. So Bitcoin is moving $3,800 per day. So $3,800 is right here. So that's 1 standard deviation. 2 standard deviations. That's the wrong one. Would be down here. So basically, if you got down into here and liquidated this, you would be working on the third standard deviation today. Then I could probably be a quick scalp buyer for the dead cat bounce, but not just on one standard. Just on one standard, I'm not loving the dead cat, but we are watching that 4-hour swing. Uh-oh, I missed it. It'll come back. Let me go ahead and take profits on Bonk because I forgot to do that as we wait on Bitcoin. I mean, there's the trade on the Bonkster right there. Short entry. Boom, boom. We want to set our take profit. Oh, we got to close this stop out first. Otherwise, it won't let us. Take a partial. We're at 112% on the ROE. Let's go to 120. Take 75% of that. And then we'll set this at 0. If it pushes down into there, it'll fill me. But I'm at, like I said, my daily average is about $300. So I'm okay with going ahead and moving this up here. Because I want to take profits just in case Bitcoin does do something crazy, like find support. I don't think it will, but it would suck if I do get stopped out of this today, because that would be 2 days in a row I was in a really nice trade, and 2 days in a row I got stopped out. But at least I can take profits, so that way if I do get stopped out, I still made my $300 today. And then obviously I have a position open on Euro USD with my main account on Forex. So that position is looking real good right now. A lot more than $300. This is a $15,000 account that I'm trading with. It's $100 a day is a little bit less than 1%, right? That's why I split it up into thirds. This way I can take 3 swings at a trade and only lose 1% of my total account equity. My main account on Forex is much bigger than that. This is where we want to see it hold. That's where I will get filled again for the last time. And that's only 2 attempts I can count. It's just, I don't love it to the upside here. But it is monthly support. Where is Bitcoin? There it is. Found you. And monthly support, since it is range bound, is a legit entry. You know what I mean? It's still range bound. It's not range bound anymore below July's low, which is much further, but you could argue and say once you're below September's low, you're not range bound anymore. You are, because you're still trading inside July's range, but you have broken down below monthly support at that point. Down here, you can just go ahead and say you're trending lower. That's all it is. But that's what the beauty of the indicator does for you. If you're closing weeklies under the 21, you are already trending lower. So last week was a good repair, but I wanted to see upside continuation, not stay in this range. So it needed to bounce here, and it did not. Since it didn't do that, now I'm like, okay, something is different here. Something is different. Potentially different. Did risk? No, risk hit Monday's high and rolled right over, but it's only down to 71. It got all the way up to 82. Yeah, these 15-minute candles on Bitcoin look weak. But I still haven't been filled. Oh, I do not want to chase this. It tagged it. Why didn't it fill me? So clearly this 4-hour swing lows price is a little bit different than that of the platform I'm trading on. Morning all. What's up, Photo Box? Good morning, Janet. Beautiful morning. Yesterday was nice in South Florida. Yesterday it had a nice cool breeze. I think it was like less than 80 degrees yesterday. Oh, that is wrong. It says it's 64 degrees outside right now. That is so wrong. Oh, is it? Never mind. My girl says it is cool outside. At 10 o'clock in the morning, it's 64 degrees. It's global warming hell. Florida very rarely gets under 60 degrees. When it does, Floridians lose their shit. And the people that have houses down here from up in New York and Connecticut and whatnot, they come down here for the winter to get out of the crazy winters. And they laugh at the Floridians because they're outside swimming right now at the beach. And Floridians are walking around with jackets on. Yeah, she said it is cold. I haven't been outside yet this morning. Funny stuff. Excuse me. Not loving this Bitcoin price action today. Unless you're short. If you're short, you're loving it. The dollar seems to be pulling back a little bit. The dollar did liquidate October 9th's swing high. So what I mean by that is you've just made a fresh October high in the dollar. So the dollar's monthly candle is at this point trending higher. I honestly feel like that's what's putting pressure on Bitcoin here. Because if you look back when the dollar should have rolled over, when it put in that technical signal that we were looking for, that breakdown right here, and then it got bought up so hard. We were looking for that because beyond that low, you were trending. You were breaking down out of this 4-month range. So when we broke down, it looked like we were going to see the dollar have downside continuation, but like we know in the markets, that doesn't happen that often. You know, markets usually spend most of their time going sideways in price discovery. So they bought it up. This is pretty much about, well, Bitcoin did start to rally there. And then right in here is when Bitcoin rolled over from the all-time highs. So since Bitcoin rolled over, the dollar has basically been trading at the same prices. And now you're seeing the dollar stretch out here to fresh October highs. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is stretching out to the downside, but not making fresh October lows, but still pushing in that direction. So it does look like, at least for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, dollar strength has been putting a little bit of pressure on Bitcoin. Or investors just think that inflation is going to go up based on tariffs. I don't think it is, but what do I know? We trade price. It doesn't matter to us if Bitcoin's going up or down or sideways. We still make money. But yeah, I just like everybody to know, at least on the macro, like when you're closing weeklies under the 21, that's not a great signal. And it hasn't been. If you look at Bitcoin on the weekly, just go back in history and look at all the times it lost its 200 or its 21. Like, to be fair, it lost it here and then went or snapped back up to the highs, but it still stayed sideways for a long time. It wasn't trending up, right? It lost that uptrending dynamic. So when you lose the 21, that's when you basically lose the uptrending dynamic. So you could see why I was so happy last week when it got back above it. Because when we got back above it here, we got that trending dynamic back. Well, it looks like we're about to print a bearish weekly engulfing. And that, my friends, sucks. Sucks bad. For the longs only. Doesn't suck bad for people holding shorts. That's what makes a market. It's struggling. It's struggling here. It looks like New York is selling them. Selling them. Bitcoin's going to zero. Farcoin looking rough. And some crypto assets are not like dead though. You know what I mean? It's the majority of them are struggling, but they're not all dead. A lot of them are. All right, Book of Meme is, this thing's totally done. Bartcoin's pretty much totally done. I mean, you're back at the lows. There's Japan's Bitcoin. It's struggling, but it's always struggled. Pepe struggling on the lows. Yeah, I mean, let's just go look at the total. Yeah. Donald Trump started threatening a trade war with China, and it basically killed it. Killed it. This is your total crypto market cap. So to say that it's been dead all year, that's kind of a stretch. It was actually at fresh highs in October. It just came off the top. But when you look at individual cryptos, yeah, most of them haven't really done much this year. Some of them have, though. Some of them have done fantastic stuff. It's just lost it. Like XRP still up on the year. Pingu down on the year. Bonk way down on the year. Solana back down on the year. So Solana's losing its yearly open now. So ultimately, it looks like on that day that we were looking, when we took the short on Fartcoin, we didn't short Solana because it had support under it. This stuff, it did ultimately break down under that day. But that's because Bitcoin rolled over and everything else rolled over, right? But hopefully you still understand why Fartcoin was still the better short, based on there wasn't any big supports under it to potentially catch it. But now it's looking pretty rough being down here, breaking back under the yearly open. Yeah, it looks like it's done. It's a lower high. Yeah, it looks like a morning star or an evening star reversal formation here. As long as you're trading under September's low on Solana, you could potentially look for shorts. You mentioned there are markets that mostly trade sideways. At some point, how about you trade in sideways channels? No, just sideways like this. Like Solana, like looking at Solana on the monthly for the year 2025, it's basically unched. It's unchanged on the year, right? You open the year at 189.55. Here we are in late October, and you're at 186.95. So you're essentially unchanged on the year, which means if you go in time, right, go all the way, you're sideways. You're trading in a range. A sideways just is another way of saying range-bound trading. I don't mean a channel, no. I just mean sideways. The market isn't trending higher and it isn't trending lower. It's just going sideways. Yeah, you can make money in those markets. There are a million strategies to trade during sideways markets. That's obviously, I'm exaggerating significantly. I don't know if there's a million strategies, but there's a bunch of them. A lot of sideways trading strategies. But yeah, that's how your Bloomberg analysts and all of your, your talking heads, if you will, that's how they analyze price. Like, how much up is it on the year? If it's up good, then obviously it's outperforming. If it's down bad, then obviously it's underperforming significantly. Things like that. But yeah, it doesn't look good. It hasn't done anything all year. And if I am mistaken, Sol was like supposed to get a huge pump because of Trump. But it didn't even make a fresh yearly high. So Sol is weaker than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's made several fresh year highs. Solana hasn't made one all year. It's been a little bit weaker. But we don't want to necessarily be short on an asset that's below the year or above the yearly open. Because like it did in September, it can act as support. If you break under that, and if it holds as resistance, that would be the level to look to be a seller. But whatever happens today with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin does break down and have a big down day, then Solana is likely going to close under the yearly open. So 190 would be the level to look for shorts, as that is your September low. So if you trade back up into here tomorrow, or even today on Sol, that would be an area to look or to watch to see if the sellers show back up there or not. Wes says Bitcoin can't make anything happen above 2024 high. It's alarming. I don't know what 2024's high is offhand. It did. I mean, 108. It made it all the way up to 124. So it did. It did. I mean, that's $20,000 higher almost. People lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin used to be a $3,000 asset not too long ago. It's trading for $100,000. Like, it's moved up faster than any other asset ever in the history of assets. Bitcoin is a massive outperformer, even up here at these levels. So everybody is looking at Bitcoin as if it's dead and has been dead all year, and it literally it's up on the year still. It's not up 500% like everybody wants it to be, but it's still up 15% on the year. So if you bought it at the yearly opening range and you sell now, you made a 15% profit. That's not bad. That's good. Buy low, sell high. It's just not, it's not doing what risk markets are doing, right? It's kind of lagging, and that is alarming. Like, risk markets have been pushing on highs since August and just making fresh high after high after high, right? Just steady climbing, and Bitcoin is still, it's just been range bound. I don't like that. But at the same time, keep remembering, Bitcoin is $100,000 asset. There's not many people out there in this world that can buy a whole Bitcoin. Just one. Like, most people, this asset is out of reach. They've already missed it, if you will. Now, for some people, they don't think that, like your Bitcoin maxis, they think Bitcoin's going up to like millions of dollars per token. I don't know if it'll ever do that. Quantum computing is coming along quite quickly, and we haven't really heard any great updates. That could be another thing looming over Bitcoin. Google is making great strides to this quantum computing thing. Meanwhile, the code has to be fixed because quantum computing will break it. It will break Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be useless if quantum computing is a thing, unless they fix it. It would have to be a quantum cryptography code. And when that happens, then Bitcoin could reach unfathomable heights. But yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with that progress. I'm sure some people are. People that have a lot of money in Bitcoin are probably keeping track of that. If not, they need to be. I just watched a video 2 days ago with breaking news on quantum computing. So it's coming. It's coming. You can buy robots right now for your house. So the future is here, ladies and gentlemen. The future is here. But yeah, Bitcoin does look to be struggling here. It's not making much gain. I would have wanted to see it already trading away from this area, guys. Bitcoin looks like it's about to have a pretty bad day. If it doesn't start pushing soon, it's going to I mean, it's already down 1.8%. So it's already having a bad day, but it could go down lower. Looks like people are feared. They're afeared. Let's go look how afeared they are. It's crazy. Risk markets at all-time highs and at a 44. Crypto's at a 34. Insane. Crazy times. Is anything else setting up? Oh, let's go look. Damn it. No, that's the wrong one. Jelly. Yeah, that might have been. Well, I said to watch this candle's close, didn't I? You did get a slight close above that, and then it rolled back over. This thing is probably pretty done pretty soon. I don't want to chase it to the downside, but it looks like it's about to lose it. And then here, this is what's killing further upside on Jelly. I mean, it's already been like just absolutely skyrocketing straight up. But that funding rate is big. Huge. So if you're holding along, you're paying shorts. The shorts can just sell here with a wide stop loss and make money on the funding rate alone. And then ultimately, when it does roll over, they'll make money on the short. Because that's typically what happens to crypto. It ultimately does roll over, right? Most of these assets are useless. This one's trading at 13 cents. It's up huge for the day, but it's still only worth 13 cents. So clearly it's not a mind-blowing, useful asset. We'll see what it does. But I mean, the chart looks good from when it started trading. There really is no major liquidation levels up here for us to go look at. You got like this weekly high is it. You're trading well above that. I'd say it's almost done. It's just a matter of time before it gives up its ghost. And I do like it for the downside break, simply because your RSI is on the 4 hour. It's not quite overcooked as much as I like to see it, but the 1 hour was. The 1 hour was literally up at 98 on the RSI. That's rarely do you see these things get far above that. You know what I mean? And since the funding rate has been paying shorts, and it probably has been paying shorts all day, there's some, I would say there's some size built up in this. I'd say there's some significant size. Just think about it. If you put hardly zero, like 1x leverage on this, you could in theory sell it. And as long as it doesn't have a massive short squeeze, you'll be okay. What are the odds that it's going to go into a massive short squeeze up at a 98 on the 1 hour? Well, it could happen. Anything could happen. But the probabilities of it going much, much higher from here, I don't know. So I did figure out, thanks to Oxum, how to put on the highlighted indicator. So now I don't have to put my crosshair on the RSI to get the... You just right click over here. Wait, where did it go? Right here on labels. And then click on indicator and financials value labels. Now, the bad part about that is every indicator you have on your chart is going to show values. So if I put my EMAs on here, then I'm going to get all EMA values, not just the RSI. But I'm okay with that. I wanted the RSI value. I got it. So thank you, Oxum, for that fantastic tricked out look. Because now I can fly through my time frames and see exactly where the RSI is, like that. Bam, bam, bam. Great. So the 8 hour actually could go up. I mean, you could go up, right? There's no ceiling as to how high these things can go. But generally 95 on a 4 hour, and I start licking my lips looking for that to be pretty much getting close to being done. Dunzo. I would like to see the selling showing up on the delta. We haven't seen that yet. Though probably, like, if it doesn't break down all morning and you go into like late afternoon and this thing is still basing up like this, you're probably going to see another run. I would much rather be a seller up here after a wick through and rejection than down here. But I would need to see that. Wick through, rejection. Then I would want to see some serious sell side candles show up. Was it this one that we were shorting the other day? I don't know. I don't see the... No, we were actually looking for this one to find support. On this candle, I remember now. We were looking for a swing break below here, but we wanted to see it stop. So, no. That can't be right either. It was over here. Down here, I think. Yeah, here. We were watching this candle swing low, and I said if it breaks down and pushes deep below that, then I don't want to be a buyer. But if it just wicks below and then starts to go back up, I will be a buyer. Clearly it broke down strongly, so I didn't take that. But it did ultimately end up going up and printing that divergence like I was talking about. We were looking to be a buyer for the diverging signal. So we wanted to buy it here and then take our money as it started pushing up to create the bearish divergence. Because generally speaking, people wait for this signal before they start selling. Like, you got some guys that will only sell if bearish divergence is present. It doesn't mean the asset is going to roll over, but I mean, you can see once you got the bearish div, you started making higher highs on this candle, so that's when you would have been at bearish divergence. And you definitely closed higher, so that is divergence right there. Once you got that, that's when the sellers started to show up. So You could technically wait for something like that here if you wanted to. But since this thing has only been running and not really selling off, I don't know if you will get a diverging signal. But it's gotten overcooked several times. That's why I start watching them once they're over 90 on the 4 hour. I'm keeping it on watch. I'm looking to attack for that blow off move. Sometimes you gotta allow the blow off to happen or start happening. But this looks like it's trying to build in support. It's crazy. Looks like it's trying to run the high of day. And Delta's looking bullish. Price is starting, let's see here. You are starting to print a little bit of hidden divergence here, but it's only on the 5 minute. Like, I don't care about 5 minute divergences. Okay, Bitcoin, you need to start moving up, broski. S&P's back above 70. 68, 78 right now. So VIX is rejecting, as of right now, the yearly open. That could be helpful for Bitcoin bulls. I don't know that it would be, but it could be. Did I get filled on Bitcoin? I did. Okay. So we're filled on Bitcoin longs from here. I do not love the Bitcoin long. I'm only taking it because it's into monthly support. The trade itself doesn't look great. I mean, I did not like the look of it rejecting the weekly 21 average. Unless it can get back above that today. Then it would be like a nothing burger. But right now it looks bad. It looks really bad. It looks like a massive rejection there. So whenever I see these big bullish spikes at swing lows, I get real cautious with those. Like, especially if the asset's been trending down all week, I typically want to sell into those. And that's literally what happened here. So New York might be just wanting to get it a little bit higher. Above 930 maybe. So right here is above 930. 108,567. Maybe they smoke these people and then they run it lower. Who knows? But it does look like it's looking for downside continuation. What I would like to see is I would like to see seller exhaustion here. If we do get seller exhaustion and Bitcoin does rally the rest of the day, that will look good. Because it'll tell me that the sellers aren't willing to show up here and break it down. They're not willing to, if they're not willing to do that, then to me that would be better longer term. But if they break it down from here, that's going to look bad. It's going to look not great. So today, Bitcoin must prove it's still bullish. It's already proved it's not still bullish here. That's why, like, it's got to get back above this stuff. Now, I'm not going to sell any of the Bitcoin that I own because of this. But I will short the pants off of this thing. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a trader. If it wants to be bearish, I will take it. I will take it. Because Bitcoin, when it starts unraveling, especially when you get down under 70, like, what's Sailor's average now? 72, 75? If you get down under 70, 75, that means Sailor's going to have to start unwinding some of his Bitcoin. That could potentially cause a cascading effect like no one's business. I do not think that's going to happen. Let me be clear. I don't try to predict what price is ever going to do. I just stay away from it because there's nobody that can. There are no technical signals that's going to tell you what's going to do. None. Zero. There are technical signals that tell you, statistically, when this happens, you get this happening such and such % of the time, right? You can do that, but that still isn't going to tell you what's going to happen. And I was actually looking to see if I could find how many times Bitcoin has printed like a 3-drive topping formation or a 3-drive topping bottoming formation. And just this year alone, we got a 3-drive top here, here, and here, and it rolled over a little bit. Then we got a 3-drive bottom here, here, and here, and then it reversed. This would be considered a bull flag, not anything else. And then, of course, you've got this 1, 2, 3. And so to be fair, your topping signal is a Wyckoff distribution formation. But that does not mean that the top is in. Because everybody thought the top was in back here when you got the same Wyckoff distribution formation. But just down here, you got a Wyckoff accumulation formation that then ran it up and smoked the Wyckoff distribution formation. But, I have to say it, the 4-year cycle model says this is the year Bitcoin's going to top. And it's late October. We're getting ready to go in November. November is when you need to start looking for shorts if you're selling Bitcoin due to the 4-year market cycle. So the fact that you have a Wyckoff distribution formation marking a top, maybe not the top, but at least a near-term top, and the 4-year cycle model is coming up. You got 2 months, November and December, clearly made the highs always for the 4-year market cycle. And those 2 months are coming up. So Bitcoin's got a lot to prove here. Which is why it just makes it a lot easier to be short at around 111. Just in case. Right? It's fine. You can do that. That's called a hedge. We love them. But yeah, it looks like they hit it today and we're going lower, folks. I mean, Pingu and Bonk are still, they're on lows. So is Bitcoin if you look at it on the hourly. Like, you're still on lows. You've not been able to get above last hour's open. That, not good. Not good. It's not the end either. It's just not great. Looks like the sellers are firmly in control. There is a freaking pattern here that could have a measured move. Jelly just popped. Let's go, baby. There it is. Oh, what did I do? Gimme. Woo! The squeeze is legit. The squeeze is legit. Very small position sizing here on this thing because it is going bonkers. Yucksters. This is fresh highs, so really can't do anything till it starts to base up under this swing. Is if it just puts in a midpoint test of this candle and bases, it's not going to look like a short yet. Oof. I didn't get filled. All right. So 15115. If it goes above that, I'll probably eat a stop. 15115. Oh my gosh, give me a fill. Bastardo. Don't you go without me. Don't chase it, guys. Don't chase it. Give it a second. Here. Huge delta. Up you go. Come on. Come back up to here. At least. It's a 15-second candle. 15 seconds. So make sure if you're trading this, you use a stop. Do not set in this without a stop loss, because you could get 5 more of these and they could all be bigger. And that, my friends, will cause you to liquidate your account. Do not play with this thing. If you got filled on a short, make sure you have a stop. Lose small, win big. Lose small, win big. That's how this works. This is the level that we want to see it fail below. So hold your wad. If it stays above it, it can be threatening new highs. It looks like it's done. And now the funding is up to 0.18. So the funding rate got kicked up even a lot more there. What did we get on the hourly? I wasn't watching it, so I can't see. We're back up to 97 on the hourly. We're at 94.24 on the 4 hour. So up here, I would say you did hit 95. Maybe. Huge liquidation. See, that's what being patient is so important. We could tell that it looked like it was wanting to run this, right? That's why we weren't chasing the short down into here. Because we only want to short it here. And only if we spike above that and insta fail. They want to see the insta fail. This is kind of an insta fail. But the problem is this spike was so big, makes it a little bit tricky about getting the short side fill. But this is the risk level. Below here, I like it lower. Let's see if other people are watching it. I don't want to see it run above this. That's the midpoint of that expansion candle. So it needs to stop going up there. If it keeps going up higher above that, then it's not done yet. How much volume is this thing traded? 4.4 million tokens. I don't know if that's good or bad. Obviously, if I pulled up volume on a daily chart, it's going to be huge. Let's see though. Let's be sure. Let's not just say that. Let's go make sure. So it's not even as big as it was, but the day isn't over, obviously. But it's definitely much bigger than average volume. Your average daily volumes are down here. Maybe right here would be average if you included all of it, but you're better than double average, which is what you want to see. Now we want to see this thing. Give up the ghost. Give it up. You know you want to. You know you're going to. Look how much more volume is trading after that spike. Look at these 15-second candlesticks. Volumes. Small, small, small. Then you get the spike. Of course, that's going to be huge volumes because you've stopped out literally everybody that got short since 10:40 a.m. So anybody that's gotten short before 10:40 has been stopped out. So this is all new trades coming in. Big volumes. We want to see it. Do not close higher than this. It could, though. It could wick up. So we got to be careful. Delta's looking good. Delta's looking good. That's what we want to see. Yes. That's what we want to see. We do not want to see this basing action. Does anybody know what this asset even is? Like what its use case is? I could ask Rock. While he's thinking. Just building. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12 in a row. 4-hour up close candles. 12 in a row is crazy. Wes says it's 62 degrees. He lives on the west coast of Florida. What are your thoughts on buying the 104 wick liquidation? 104K wick liquidation. Wait. Oh. I wouldn't like it under 104 because July's low marks the bottom of the range, the 4-month range. So beyond 105, I don't like it. For me, like if it's going to go up, obviously I can't predict what things are going to do, but for me to like Bitcoin higher, I kind of want to see it hold here. Like this could also be considered the bottom of the range. I don't necessarily need to see a liquidation below a wick. So I don't think I would be a buyer down there. So we bought it right here. This is like the last line of defense for me. If we lose this level again and it starts pushing on lows today, all day, I'm not going to buy it again. We've lost all of the averages that we wanted to see Bitcoin hold. So you got to look at it in this, like, is Bitcoin strong or is it weak? Well, it's definitely weaker because it can't hold the support bid. When you're looking for an asset to remain bullish, you want to see higher lows build in. You want to see the support bid show up, as it shows us that investors do like it long term and they are buying it at higher prices. When you don't have that, then it's showing you the asset, people don't actually believe it can go higher. So literally, the support bid needs to come in here for me to like it. Now, you've already liquidated pretty much everything. So the October low is what you're talking about. The low that was made here. It would, in theory, be a 3-drive bottoming formation if it just liquidated that wick, because that was also a liquidation, then another liquidation, then another. So as long as it stayed above $100,000, you could, in theory, buy it for a 3-drive bottoming formation. But if you continue to push lower, then that's not a liquidation, right? If you start making lower lows and lower closes each and every day that passes, it isn't a liquidation. You're trending lower. So only do that if you basically know what you're doing, because you're literally trying to stop something that is breaking down out of a 4-month sideways, what should have been accumulation. So when you look at bullish assets, they break out, then they build in support, then they break out, then they build in support, then they break out. Like Bitcoin has broken out a couple times this year and never got like going. It just couldn't get going for whatever reason. It's because it's expensive. That's the main reason. So you broke out here, instant rolled over. You broke out here and then accumulated. Then you broke out again. So you've broken out 5 times this year. And this price action actually fits sell side, like, more than it does the buy side, because you're back to support. I understand the lines get a lot like hot and heavy down here, but we're marking the main bottom of the range is July's low. If you're trading under July's low, you do no longer have a range bound asset. Objectively speaking, you are trending lower beyond that point. Then that means this 4-month accumulation didn't happen, or it failed. Either or, not necessarily loving that, right? I like it to find support and then move higher. I actually wanted to see October close up on fresh highs, because we were kind of building in, higher lows here, and it looked good for a breakout for the upside continuation. This is a bearish engulfing. As long as it's trading under October's open, you're a bearish engulfing candle. That's not great either. I don't like to see bearish engulfings at the top of the range. It doesn't mean that it's over, but it isn't great either. So I would love to see the foundation hold here. And this is the foundation. This is where I would expect buyers to show up. So just when you get some time, just go back and look at all of your bullish assets and see how they build in support and then move higher, right? On large time frames, like here, it builds in support, then it goes higher. It stays in the range, builds in support, goes higher, builds in a long-term support. Now, this is when we got the bear market, so that wick is going to be not necessarily what we would have expected to see, but it's been going higher. So risk markets are probably getting a little bit long in the tooth here. But we didn't see Bitcoin do this. Bitcoin is doing weird stuff. It's still accumulating the range, but it needs to hold. And I would like it to hold today, the day after in a FOMC. That would fit. I would like that. But if it ends up being a really bad down day today, I won't like that. Because today is, tomorrow is. So Friday, that's going to be the monthly close. So Monday, Saturday, you're going to have a fresh month open. And October was supposed to be Uptober, remember? And it's down. So, doesn't look great. But make sure you're managing your risk, whatever you decide to do. But yes, you typically, you in theory would have another 3 drop bottoming formation. So it needs to liquidate and stop. You need to see something similar to this. A liquidation and then stops. Well, this isn't even done yet, so I'd like to see it start to give way here. And that's what I would need to see Bitcoin do. Anything less than that is just not great. MSTR sucks. Yes, it does. MSTR looks bad. MSTR is not range bound. MSTR broke down out of its range right there. 3-month ranging conditions here. Needed to break out and trend higher than 436. It could not do that. It ultimately failed. Then it broke down, closed under its range. Retested the range and failed. Retested the range again, making a fresh monthly high, and then it failed. Doesn't look good. And because this is happening to MicroStrategy, MicroStrategy owns a lot of Bitcoin. I mean, this could also be looked at as one big range, but I mean, damn. This was supposed to be a bullish quarter. MicroStrategy looks rough. If MicroStrategy, and I mean, no matter what however you want to look at this, let's go pull up our weekly 21. So if you would have just started getting more bearish, or at least getting more defensive on MSTR once you lost the 21, that would have put you right in there. So look where this thing closed, right? This was the confirmation it's going lower point. Ended up being a fantastic short side entry. And now you're seeing downside continuation. There's nothing good about this. Nothing good at all. It could find support down here, obviously, but I don't like this near-term price action right in here. This looks bad. I would be super bearish. There's the breakdown that we want to see. Now, can it hold that? That's what we wanted to see. Starting to look more and more like an insta-ject. Give us that insta-rejection. Looking good. Is the cycle over? So for me to answer that question, I would literally need to be able to see into the future. If you go by the cycle model, the 4-year cycle model, yes, it's over. But is it over? Is it going to respect the 4-year cycle model? I don't know. And I won't ever know. And neither will anybody else. Nobody can answer that question. They can give you a 50-50. They can take a shot at it and hope they're right. Like I could say, yes, it's over for sure, and here's why, blah, 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 right? But it's still just going to be a 50-50. The macro does not support bear markets. We've already seen a bear market for 2025. I've looked into it, and there's like the best case scenario for seeing 2 bear markets in 1 year is like 0.05%. Like it's so low that the casino would take that bet with you. Like if you were gambling on another bear market in 2025, the casino would sell that trade to you every single time because the odds are so low that another bear market's going to happen. Now, with that being said, what constitutes a bear market for Bitcoin? On risk markets, it's a 20% decline from the highs. So on S&P, you're down 20%, you're a bear market. Bitcoin is down to that low, to October's low, 18%. So Bitcoin is down 20% at 109. So just call it 100K. If you lose 100K, you're in bear market territory. On Bitcoin, we're closer to that than we are to the highs. So it doesn't look great. But that's all I can tell you, unfortunately. If I knew, like if I could see into the future, then I would tell you. I promise. It's better to just mitigate your risk. I mean, if you think it's bearish, short it. Just make sure that you've got a stop loss out, and when that stop loss gets triggered, you're only going to lose how much you can afford to lose. And do it. Short it. That's what we're doing here. That's what I did on Bonk this morning. I shorted it. It's down, so I can't predict the markets, but I do pretty good hitting trades. Like way better than average. The jelly isn't quite done here, but it's working on it. I like this look. And it does take time. Sometimes it takes time for shorts to build up or it to give up its ghost. The funding rate is still supporting sellers. Now they can use, whoever owns the supply of this asset can manipulate the prices. Whoever holds the majority supply, they can manipulate prices. The crypto's the Wild West. We know that goes on. We know spoofing, everything that's illegal in the U.S. markets, we know goes on in crypto markets. Literally everything, from money laundering down to market manipulation, all of it. If they're using that short funding rate to pump prices, then it won't be done yet, right? It'll keep going up until they're whatever price is, whatever their cutoff price is, whenever they sell, that's when this thing will give up the ghost. And I would love to be holding a short side entry when that happens. Do not chase it down here, though. This was the level we were watching. And then you could have shorted it as high as here, but it didn't get back up there. Do not chase it down into here, because this is where support has been holding for a long time, since 7 o'clock. So if you're long, if you're trying to buy, this is a buying op. If you think jelly is worth $20, right? You think it's a hell of a deal down here, then you're going to be a buyer here. I'm not, but I'm just saying, if you're pumping the asset, if you look at the 5 minute, you never got down to the 200 once it started to pump. It never got down to the 200 moving. It still hasn't. So even down into there, one could argue and say that that could still be a buying op. We want to see it go and break well under this. We want to take profits like 10. We don't want to see it do this and then just build in again, because it ain't done yet. And it's always concerning to shorts. The shorts are the one helping the squeeze continue. But I have found really good luck shorting into these crazy gainers by waiting for a 95 print on the 4-hour RSI, as well as when the funding rate is high and paying sellers. So the funding rate is high. Very, very high. A normal funding rate would be 0.005. That would be a normal funding rate. The fact that you got digits in the tens place, right? That means it's up high. Now it's every 4 hours, so it's not a super bearish funding rate, but it is a bearish funding rate. Whenever the funding rate is positive, that means the longs are paying the shorts. The longs pay the shorts, and they're paying a lot. So you can be long. You're making money because you're long, right? You're long to the upside. So as prices go up, you're making money. But if prices start to chop sideways for like hours or days, your profits are going to get eaten into based on the funding. Now, this is a very small position size. So with the funding like this, I might go into positive territory on a realized P&L in 45 minutes if I don't get stopped out first. But one time there was a funding rate that was like it was a 2.0, and it was every hour. And I literally made $400 in one day with $200 in one day with like a $25 position. The funding rate was so jacked up. But it was to the upside, so the sellers were paying, I think. I think it was a long trade. And it was just going sideways for so long. People were just making money on the funding. So Bitcoin's back under our entry. And bonk still looks good. We already took money out on bunk. We've already paid ourselves. So we've already hit our $300 a day target. But if Jelly Jelly rolls over, we're going to make that plus more. With this size of a position and that much leverage, if Jelly Jelly drops 30%, we're going to make a ton of money. We're going to make like $600. But Jelly Jelly, I mean, it could. Right here is 24%. So we could make good money. Maybe it's 40%. We'll make $600. Down in here will probably be about $300. But I don't know that it's going to go down either. This thing could go up. It could go up to 80 cents today. I don't know what it's going to do. The last really big squeeze that happened, it's only up 50% right now. I say only because I watched an asset one day go from being up like 50% to being up like 400%. So if this thing starts cranking out big ass candles like that, you do not want to get involved in that. You will get bitch smacked. Your account will get massively reduced unless you get lucky and catch it on the right side. And that rarely happens for me. I would rather just wait for the moon or the planets to align, if you will. And for me, that's a 95 4-hour RSI and a huge sell side funding rate. It's worked out for the last couple trades that we've taken like this. But it won't work 100% of the time. So I don't remember what the last one was. Mavia. It was Mavia. Yeah. So we made $300 on Sunday on Mavia. And then we made another $300 on this day. And that one has given it all back. Most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. So both of those trades, the signal was the same. Super high RSI, super high sell side funding rate. But it will not work 100% of the time. So do not bet your entire portfolio on that. In fact, Jelly Jelly was on this watch list before. Right? It was already, we already had it on watch way back over in here. So this thing, I mean, it looks like people are buying it. You get big expansions, sideways price action, expansion, pullback, sideways, expansion. That might not be done. What did Grok say it is? I don't care about the price. It's a meme coin inspired token. It's tied to the Jelly Jelly app ecosystem, a social video chat platform where users create and share short AI captioned clips. I could see where that could have a use case, right? If that app takes off. Obviously, the 24-hour trading volume is up significantly, 100%. So it's up double today. I don't want to buy it. I want to sell it, but we'll see what it does. The technical signal that I look for has been fired, so if it fails to work, it'll fail to work. All's good. We still made our money on bonk. What are you doing, Bitcoin? Giving it up? Looks like it's giving it up. This looks pathetically weak. Like, pathetically weak. There's your New York Open. We've been trading for 2 hours. And Bitcoin couldn't even make a fresh New York session high. That's pretty weak. So Bitcoin is probably done for the day. Make sure your stops are situated on Bitcoin. I got to put one in. I didn't have one in. I'm going to stop it out at, well, I mean, it's already back under the level. So I'd say $20. I'm not going to eat a big loss on this thing. No point. I don't like the trade. So 5% of the position size would be a $20 loss. All right. We'll take that. So chances are if Bitcoin pushes below here, I'm going to be stopped out. And I'll be done with Bitcoin. The bonk trade I'm going to keep open because it looks great. It's not like a severe breakdown yet, but just think about this. If Bitcoin starts pushing on fresh day lows, this thing could literally break down big today. It doesn't mean it's going to. Of course, I can't see into the future. Timer's irrelevant anyways. All time is literally is the spinning of the planet. But yeah, in another couple hours of spinach here, if this thing isn't moving to the upside, I would be very concerned that Bitcoin probably is going to be down significantly today. And then risk markets, they're still chopping at 68.78. So it doesn't look real great for risk markets, but the VIX is under the yearly opening range. And as long as that's the case, I think risk markets could go higher. So if the VIX is pushing above 1721, be careful, the risk markets could roll over and continue to push lower today. I think longs are safe on risk markets as long as it's rejecting its yearly open. Because you only came down here once today and you haven't been back. But here's the thing, if it doesn't start to trend above this stuff, I mean, it looks like it's trying to go roll over here. This is Monday's high. Today's Thursday. We should be well above Monday's high. So your sellers are looking at that and they are taking trades based on that. We could probably take a trade based on that, but I don't think the VIX is, I mean, I don't know what it's going to do, obviously, but I think it's done. That's probably your last hoorah on the VIX for this year. I mean, we've had a couple hoorahs on the VIX already this year. We had one here, then we had another one there. Then another one here, one there. This one was a big one, though. This one made it almost all the way up to 30. And that's significant. A 30 VIX is bad. But you've broken down, so the real resistance level for S&P bears would be there. Like, a lot of them might not even be looking at the yearly open. That's just something that I keep an eye on. You can see how, I mean, this is why we were getting so cautious before the spike, because it was making higher lows going into that. Now it's making lower highs under it. As long as it can stay under this, I think risk markets will be okay. Even today, you did make a lower low. You haven't made a higher high yet. So even today, this structure still looks like it's, it could go down. Which means people could be a buyer here, but I'm not going to trade it yet. I hate buying puts when the VIX is this elevated. I like buying puts under 15. Because you need a big break. You need a big breakdown to really make good money. But the dollar is up significantly, so you could see a big breakdown. But the dollar hasn't really been affecting ES prices. Remember, you've got big earnings this evening. Apple's got earnings still. Post-market today, right? No, Apple did earnings already. Who had earnings today? No, they haven't. They do earnings tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. So they got earnings tonight. Microsoft had earnings yesterday, and they were a beat. Both top and bottom line beat earnings, and it's down. So I don't know what's going on with that. I didn't listen. And I haven't heard any news on why. I don't really care why. I never care why. Nvidia's earnings is next week. Amazon's got news. So it's Apple and Amazon has earnings this evening. Pre or post market. This could really affect what S&P does later. And Google had a big beat on earnings yesterday. Big beat. Big top line beat. Decent bottom line. So be careful. Apple, Amazon. Meta, holy cow. Meta got absolutely spanked. 84% surprise. What? Damn. Ouch. What happened, Meta? That's a 11% decline. Tesla already did earnings. Nvidia already did earnings. AMD's got earnings next week. AMD's not a huge portion of the S&P. LRCX already did. That doesn't have earnings. That doesn't have earnings. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you got earnings next week on AMD and then earnings tonight on Apple and Amazon. Okay, so Jelly refusing to break down here. Come on, you bitch. Let's go. Break down. Do it now. Or else. All right. MSTR has earnings tonight. Yuck. Yeah. Well, they've hitched their wagon to the Bitcoin train. And I mean, you got a fresh breakdown here today. This is MicroStrategy doesn't look good. Not to me. To me, it's been a sell for a while. Been a sell for a while. Now, people are going to buy based on different averages, different time frames. But you've got a death cross, dude, on the daily. Come on, like. Daily death cross. 185 is the weekly 200. If you get all the way down there, that's going to look terrible. Nobody will want to buy then. You'll be oversold on the weekly. Almost. If you get down there. I'm telling you, this thing's driving me crazy. I should just leave it stock, huh? I think it should be saved to do that on all charts. But yeah, I mean, you're almost oversold already on the weekly. Yeah, it doesn't look good. This doesn't look good for Bitcoin. But because they have earnings, if they come out and beat earnings, I guess that could affect it. Maybe that's why Bitcoin isn't breaking down, huh? Because they're waiting on MSTR earnings this evening. Nah, Bitcoin is breaking down. It's breaking down right now. In fact, no, I still ain't got stopped out yet, but not looking good. I will be stopped out if it goes just a little bit lower. And this, I don't like this. Do not like this. This is just taking its sweet time. These are just 4-hour swings. You got the previous 4-hour swing high, the last 4-hour close, and then the previous 4-hour swing high. Well, the fact that you can't even get under that stuff is concerning for shorts. This is the current 4-hour open. Oh, this is your 4-hour open right here. So the fact that you traded down into the 4-hour open, that set your 4-hour low right there. Boom. The fact that you traded down there and then bounced doesn't look great for sellers. I hope it can stay under 14,570 because I'm short. It's a meme token, but still, if it's based on a platform, if the platform is doing really good, then obviously the investors aren't done with it. And remember, whoever invented it probably owns the majority of the supply. So it can go. They can manipulate the prices. Only they will let us know. Only when it's done will we know. Or at least give up the ghost, right? I typically shoot for like 30%, 20, 40, somewhere in there. And then I take my money and run. Wait for the next big mover. And there's really nothing moving other than Jelly. Unite is up, but it's only got 45,000 tokens traded. That's not got enough liquidity. BUSDT is back on the rise, but it's up 19%. So it's only putting 78 on the 4-hour RSI. So nowhere near overcooked here. Jelly should be pretty damn close to being overcooked. It might make one more short squeeze and then it be done. Who knows? But I do think that it will at least give some of that back eventually. And we read that already. So I tried to fill a sell when we were tagging the monthly high. I didn't get filled on the ES. I sent it, but never got filled. Damn it. No trade on that today. So basically, we just gotta wait for this to either give up the ghost or Bonk to give up the ghost. Oh, Bonk's giving it up right now. Yeah. Go on with it, big boy. Love it. I love it. It's just, it's easy, man. I like these easy trends. And I like being awake when they happen. I ain't even gonna joke around. Just me being up for the London session this morning was pure luck. I couldn't sleep. I rolled over, looked at the clock. It said 3 o'clock. I got up, turned on the PC, looked at Bonk, rolled my eyes, hit the sell button. That easy. And then within just a few short minutes, boom, 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 boom. So waking up at my normal time, which is 6, would have been down here around the low of day. That was your daily low. So it would have been a much more difficult short to take down here. But it was a super easy one to take during London session. And that's pretty much where they all rolled over. Here's Pingu, London session. Boom, down. But since Bonk is... It was only down like 4% earlier when Fartcoin was down 12. I was like, if Bonk's going to have a bigger down day, then I'm going to leave some of it open to catch that. Works out so perfect. It's repeatable too, which is what makes it amazing. Pingu's probably done. These are your meme tokens. They're probably done. Yeah, I mean, Pingu literally gave back 80% of its value this month. So the fact that it's just making lower lows, lower highs doesn't sound good for crypto markets, or at least the meme tokens. Because, I mean, Jelly's a meme token also, and it's definitely not on lows. It's definitely on highs. And there are other cryptos that you can find that are doing this. It's not just Jelly. But most of them give it back. So OLUSDT, I don't know what this is, but closer to the highs than the lows. But it's probably done now. H-bar. Well, H-bar, it looks like it could be done as well. H-bar might be a short tomorrow. I don't know what this is, but it's 19 cents, so it isn't something that's great. Maybe we already shorted. We shorted it at 26. It's down to 11. That's way more than half. Myro looks like it's giving it back. So you just got to watch the daily, the ones that are popping on the dailies. So my WorldCoin trade got stopped out, obviously. Near, not quite down, but it's working on it. Link, on lows. Tau, this one's on highs, or at least yearly open. This has value, $440 per token. So this obviously has a use case, obviously has value. With that being said, it's down on the year. Down on the year. So the sell signal hasn't been fired yet. It's still long. It's still long. Price is still trading above both daily and weekly 21 exponential moving averages. So what I would say for this, if you can come back and test supply and hold on TAO USDT, if it rejects 432.29, Bitcoin just got stopped. Yeah, Bitcoin got stopped. But anyways, if you retest tomorrow 432 and hold, I'd be willing to short this. So that's one we can watch tomorrow. Can't trade it today. It's a bearish engulfing today. And it's down at yesterday's low. Though it could bounce from here. So we don't want to short it right where it is right now. But tomorrow's a whole different ball game. Yeah. So TAOU needs to go up to the top of the watch list. Ooh, man, that thing got. Where is XMR? This one usually trades on its own merit. It's also got value, but it looks like it's done too. I could watch last week's high for short side entries on XMR. Monthly res is going to come in a lot sooner than that, though. There's monthly res. And then this is last week's high. Okay. So we do have a couple we can watch tomorrow. They all have value. So these are not these aren't meme tokens or shit coins, right? These actually have value. So these have real world investors in them. This one's up pretty good. This thing is up nicely on the year. 65% on the year. Looks like it's giving it up. We'll see. We'll watch it. If it fails, we'll short it tomorrow. So we'll pull XMR up under Tau. These will be the two biggest watch tomorrow for short side sets. Solana could also be a short side set. We can watch it, but it's just now like really getting going. And we were already under the yearly open when we started going live. So maybe a retest of September's low. That is a nothing. That YO stands for yesterday open, not year open. Clearly that's an old level that I put on there weeks ago, maybe days ago. But you're into the 200 on the daily. So yeah, retest of September's low, a failure there, we can short Solana. So we'll keep Tau, XMR, and Solana on watch. But the rest of them... Ooh, and Hype. Damn it, dude. Could have bought Hype at $20 and made 100%. Damn it. Even hype looks good still. Where though? Where would we? I don't think you'd get back out the weekly res. You're into monthly res. This one in theory could be a sell today. If it could bounce from here today back up to like 46.67 and then stop going higher, I could actually take a short on this today. But obviously that would depend on what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin is like bouncing and trending up on the day, then I wouldn't. Bitcoin needs to stay red for me to want to be short crypto, especially crypto that has value. This is an exchange. This has actual value. This exchange makes money. Anything that makes money has value. And that's pretty much it. What's Tesla doing? I haven't looked at Tesla in a while. Yeah, it's struggling. Somebody beat Optimus to the punch. Optimus, ain't that Tesla's home slave? Tesla's like home bot thing, robot, clean your house robot. This company is already, what's it called? Nero or something like that. I don't know. I saw it on Asmongold, this robot. This guy.
Wow.
Already.
And it can do dishes too.
For sale. You can buy this. You can buy it $40,000. It's a robot. If you don't know about it, check it out. I don't think that company's public yet, but when it becomes public, I'm going to buy it. If you don't think a bunch of robots cleaning people's houses won't sell like hotcakes, yeah, they will. People will buy those. Absolutely, there's a market for that. But yeah, anyways, that robot's beating Teslas to the market. The future is here. All right, back to Jelly Jelly. Jelly Jelly. It's still just thinking about it. I would rather it thought about it down here. All right, you guys got any other questions? Oh, yep, there's one right there. Heath, do you ever look at crypto ETF values prices compared to market price? No, not really. The only, I look for just to see what the delta is on the buy and sell when it comes to Bitcoin ETFs. Like yesterday there was a big sell side delta on ETF outflows. That's all I really pay attention to. And it's always 1 day lagged data. So you really can't find out till the day ends, till the end of the day. Then you can get these numbers. But that's it. I don't look for any kind of arb play. You know what I mean? If that's what you're talking about, like arbitrage between Bitcoin's price and ETF prices. I don't do that, but I can check them for you, of course. I have them all of them on one of these watch lists. Let's see if it's this one. Yeah, these are all of your Bitcoin ETFs. IBIT and BITB are the two biggest. IBIT has weekly options, but both of them are liquid. You can trade either or. Right? And they both track Bitcoin's price. So whatever Bitcoin does, these things will do. But these are all Bitcoin ETFs. BRR, DeFi. Yeah, it is. Of course, GBTC is an old coins going to track. I mean, all of these are basically like Bitcoin plays. That's what I'm trying to tell people about the 4-year market cycle, right? Last year, the only thing that you had was MicroStrategy. Last year. And then that was pretty much it. It's either Bitcoin or MicroStrategy or one of the mining stocks like Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, or ClearSpark, whatever it is. It's right here. Right? So MicroStrategy, Riot, Mara, and maybe a couple other ones. Those were the best ways to trade Bitcoin if you didn't want to buy Bitcoin. But now, this year, 2025, you've got all of these. Now, these two, to be fair, are ETH ETFs. But still, like, all of these products, and this isn't any of the Bitcoin treasury plays. Like, that's just straight up Bitcoin plays. It's different, man. Like, this year changed a lot. And people are like, well, why didn't this do anything for Bitcoin? It did. It did. It did a lot for Bitcoin. Just go back to 2024. Right? Here's January 2024. No Bitcoin ETFs. You made it to 73,000. April, May, June, October, November, it pumped up to 100K. So we hit a high of $124,000. That's pretty big. So it did do something, but it didn't do what everybody wanted it to do. But people aren't done buying Bitcoin. People are still buying Bitcoin. They just have so many different ways to do it now. So the 4-year cycle model theory might play out and it might not. But it definitely doesn't look great. I have always said, as long as you're closing weeklies under that, man, it's not great news. Doesn't necessarily mean the bull market cycle's done, but there's so many different ways to get access to Bitcoin volatility. So that might affect the 4-year cycles moving forward. It might not also. I don't know. But yeah. The Neobot isn't even real yet. Oh, it isn't?
So check this out. This is our wallet company, Code 118. We make GPS trackable smart wallets that are all...
We are probably 3 years away from being able to have sex.
Oh my God, he's such a weirdo.
Can it jerk you off?
Neo, the robot.
Right here.
Today begins a new age. Neo, the home robot. Order today. Here we go. Let's see it.
My name is Bern.
Today begins a new age. Neo, the home...
Order today. I don't know what you mean. Maybe that tweet is fake news. I don't know. Let's ask Grok. That's what I was going by. I was just going by that. So you may be right. Let's ask Grok. Can I buy a Neo robot today? Oh, no, you cannot buy a Neo robot today for immediate delivery. It's currently available only for pre-order. Okay, well, still, you can buy it. You just won't get it today. But you can buy it. First units shipping to homes in 2026. That's just a couple months away. So, I mean, it looks like if you want to buy a Neo robot today, you can. You just won't get it today. So, no, you can't go to Walmart and buy a Neo. But you can buy a Neo. You can available for pre-market order. So you can order it today. That means it's here, pretty much. Time is irrelevant, right? Like it's only going to take 2 months for the world to spin around a couple more times and then you'll be able to get it. Obviously, if it's like Tesla was, remember Teslas, you could pre-order them and they took years for some people to get. Maybe that ends up being the case. Maybe. But they are currently taking orders for pre-sales. That's all I was saying. Like, we're there. We're getting close. Closer and closer. There's a big spike. There's a fill. Don't chase it. I don't like it. I don't want it coming back up. But I did get filled. I got stopped out, but I had a fill there again. So we'll see what it does. The stop was setting dead on entry. I just get so afraid of these things because they can spike. If it continues to push up the rest of the morning, I'll leave it alone. I won't be watching it all day. I actually thought it was going to roll over as soon as it liquidated. It did not. So might be a wash. You can watch this thing all day if you want to. It should be close, man. Look at this. RSI is 94 and the funding rate still at 17. Still paying the sellers. That's a whole lot of four. Now, this really doesn't matter as far as how many in a row. Clearly, you can do 1 million in a row if there's people buying it, but we already know Jelly Jelly really isn't anything but a more or less a meme token. But that doesn't mean you can't lose all your money trying to trade it. So be careful with it. But we're going to wrap it up. It's 12 o'clock. I got to get something to eat. Let me answer these couple quick questions, though. Yeah, MK. Wait a minute. Going too fast. You know, another bubble that had treasurycompanies.com. I remember internet treasuries. They all pop like balloons. Okay. You're saying we're in a bubble? Okay, maybe. Maybe we are. Maybe we aren't. I know you really can't participate in the bubble yet. I mean, AI bubble, you can't really, you can buy NVIDIA, but there are no AI companies. You could be right, but before I start laying out that word bubble, I need to see AI companies go public, let us be able to buy AI companies. Then I want to start seeing random companies with AI in their name become SPACs or however they want to come to market. That generally starts to mark a bubble. The Fed is cutting interest rates. So, I mean, take that with what you will. You could be right. We could be in a bubble. But I'm not seeing bubble type anything yet. I remember 2000, what the market did. I was alive back then. I'm a boomer. NeoBot isn't even real yet. It was being controlled by a human VR. It's a pre-order for 20K and does not even have a ship date yet. They are selling this vision. Okay. You know that another bubble had Treasury Company doc. Okay, I read that. It's a pre-order, but you can pre-order it, right? So you can buy it. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying that someone wasn't controlling that robot. I didn't say anything about that. I simply said you can buy the robot. You can't buy the Tesla robot yet, can you? That's all I said. There was a person in the next room. Oh, okay. Got it. Lunar Entity works with robots, I see. Love you too, BTWSL. Use the link to sign up for weeks. Do I recommend? No. Steven, no. Never. No. You can use the week's link. It will save you 20%. I do not shill it because I'm a profitable trader. I make money trading. But it will save you on fees. If you want to trade on weeks, use that link. You will save money on fees. There you go. No, I don't. I didn't. I just signed up with an email. I did not KY, I did not do that. But I only have $15,000 on exchange because it's an offshore exchange. I'm in the US. I don't trust offshore exchanges as far as I can throw them. So I'm okay with losing $15,000. I recommend that you only send your crypto to them. So you just need an email and a password. You're in. You got it. They will give you all of your addresses and everything like that will be associated with your email. I have never had any trouble getting money on or getting money off exchange ever with just using an email and a password. Now, with that being said, make sure however much crypto you send there to trade, you are not afraid to lose, because they could close up their doors and you would not be able to get your money back. And I don't want you to feel like I'm responsible for that, because I'm not. I'm literally telling you, do not send a lot of money. You don't need a lot of money to trade on weeks. I'm literally making money every day on these live streams. Almost every time we do a live stream, I'm making a couple $100, and I'm never using more than couple $100, right? I only make withdrawals. Only make withdrawals. I never send money. I'm only pulling money off. But I did send money a couple times just to test the link. Sent and then received, right? Boom, boom. And it worked. It worked fine. But yeah, absolutely. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want a KYC anywhere. It's up to you if you want to. But I mean, if you don't have any crypto, you might have to, right? Because I think most banks require it. So like if you're planning on just straight sending USD 2 weeks, then you would have to, because to link your bank account up to the exchange, you probably have to. But I just sent crypto. When I first signed up, I signed up because BitGet, I used to be a BitGet affiliate, but BitGet told me that they weren't going to allow US citizens anymore. But this was back during the Biden administration. BitGet may, I don't know. I don't know what they do anymore. But when they told me that, that's when I started to use weeks. Because the representative that shouted me out was someone that I used to work with on weeks. On BitGet. So they moved from BitGet as well and moved to weeks. So that's how I got turned on to weeks. And I said, yes, I definitely want an exchange to be able to trade on. So that's how I started trading on weeks. And I've been trading on it for a couple years now. And it works just as good as any other exchange. You don't really see scam wicks or anything like that. I have no problems with the exchange. None. But like I said, I'm no KYC. I just send money and that's it. You could nowadays, there's so many ways to trade Bitcoin. Like Coinbase even allows futures trading on Bitcoin now. So I mean, it is what it is. I like the week's exchange because I can control exactly my position size. When you're trading on CMEs, you have to have a specific amount of margin to trade it. With weeks, you don't. With weeks, you can trade with $10 if you want to. You're not going to make a lot of money, obviously, but you can trade with very little. That's what I love about it. It's so easy to use very small amounts of money to make consistent returns. That's all trading is. Consistently making money. Microsoft now is an AI company. That is why Microsoft got a bump. Gotcha. Well, all of them have AIs. Apple don't. That's why Apple was struggling. I mean, they do. They got Siri, and they were working on something. I can't remember the name of it, but I think they pulled that back. I remember the little girl that played in that the zombie show on HBO. She was in that commercial. Apple, what was it? But still, Apple back up at all-time highs. I don't know why Apple isn't, and a lot of people have been, I guess you could say, talking about it. Like, what are you doing, Apple? They obviously have something up their sleeve. But yeah, you can play AI, right? You can trade Nvidia, that's an AI play. Amazon uses AI. Google has AI. Meta AI. Like you can trade Tesla. You don't have access to Grok, but I'm sure people are trading Tesla for Grok AI. There's a few ways, but what I'm talking about specifically is AI companies. Like that's all they do, right? AI, publicly traded AI companies. Then you start seeing random SPACs, like special acquisitions, or just random companies you've never heard of that just say they do AI stuff. When you start seeing that kind of thing, then you can say, yeah, this is an absolute AI bubble. AI is still fairly new. Machine learning, not new. AI, new. Like the applications that we're seeing nowadays, like Sora 2, all these other, like Microsoft is the way to go through to get to ChatGPT for now. Are they going to become a publicly traded company in the future? Who knows, right? Probably not if Microsoft owns them. But that's all I mean. Like, you're not seeing a bunch of random AI companies just boom, boom, boom. It happened back when the weed stocks were all the rave. You guys remember that? When Tilray and CMC, all these weed stocks were just going absolutely mayhem. And then you started seeing weed companies popping out left and right, Canadian stocks, and all these different tickers just started becoming tradable. That's a bubble, typically. Now, Bitcoin is probably a bubble because you've got all these ETFs now, and you've got all these companies buying Bitcoin, wanting to be a Bitcoin treasury company. That is bubble-like, right? That's bubble-like. But Bitcoin really hasn't had insane gains this year. They've had really good gains from 2023, but this year, not really doing much. So I'm cautious with the word bubble. A lot of people aren't, right? Because I know that we're in a rate cutting cycle with the Fed. I also know that Jerome Powell's on his way out the door. I also know that Trump is going to put in a very dovish guy in there next, and the rate cuts could get more aggressive moving forward. That is bullish for small companies, mid companies, and typically risk markets, right? Free money, or at least cheap money. Cheap money is good for the economy. People need to borrow, and they love to borrow with very little interest rates. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bull market guaranteed, right? I don't want people to think that I'm just some permabull, because I am not. I will love to short these markets when a bubble pops. I will short them. We will catch some of them. Will we catch the absolute peak? Probably not. But we will catch big shorts. You can short Bitcoin right now. Like, I wouldn't suggest doing it today, but it's shortable. It's red on the month. It's under the weekly 21. That's good enough for me to become a Bitcoin short. Absolutely. So, is it the top, though? I would definitely not say that either. I used to call when I thought was the top or whatnot, but I don't do that stuff anymore because nobody can do it, right? You can say it and there's a 50% chance you're going to be right. That doesn't mean you're the shit. It means you got lucky. Because just like the fella telling me that he is working in robots, so obviously he knows more about robots than I do, right? Well, I've been trading for a long time, and I know there's not one single individual on the planet that can tell you what the market's going to do consistently. We all have strategies that we implement to make money in the markets, but none of us know what the markets are going to do. That would be, it would no longer be a free market if people had that kind of an edge. Now, you can manipulate stuff and things like that. That's different. That's flat out fraud. Fartcoin's down almost 15%. So Fartcoin's getting to the extremes here. We did watch Fartcoin go up 37% not too long ago. So don't think that 20% is going to be the bottom. If it gets there today, it could go much lower. Bonk is still only down 8%. What is wrong? Why did I short the only one that decided to lag today? Fartcoin was a setup this morning during the London session. It just wasn't as good. I guess it was. It was at last week's open. It just didn't have as big of a spike higher. So like here, it didn't have that big gigantic 4-hour candle like Bonk did. Like Bonk's spike was much more aggressive. Big gigantic spike here. Fartcoin, nothing. It was a little spike, but there was an objective level there that one could have, in theory, shorted. But these things just look super weak today. Bitcoin is struggling to make any kind of headway below that 4-hour swing. So it could still bounce here. I just don't like the way it looks. It looks bearish. But I have said that many times, and Bitcoin ends up going on to make big ass strong moves during the day. Just be careful if you're shorting Bitcoin. I think the best opportunity for the Bitcoin short was at 3 o'clock this morning. And then I'll wrap it up with this. That's Jelly. It is still just setting here at this entry point. If it starts closing candles, and I don't care what time frame, you start closing candles above this line, it might not be done yet. So be careful. I'd say it's getting close, but it could be tomorrow before it rolls over. Who knows, right? Just be careful if you're shorting it. We just opened a brand new 4-hour candle. 12 o'clock opened a brand new 4-hour candle. So, yeah. It's on the grind still. Weeks also doesn't experience these mysterious outages during high volume events. I haven't seen it yet. No, I have not. I have absolutely, thank you, Janet. I have absolutely been trading while other people could not. Yes, they don't. But what I have noticed that can happen with weeks is during very volatile periods, if you're trying to get an entry on limit, there could be a spread. So if that happens, just hit market and then go back to limit and see if that doesn't tighten the spread up. And I'm talking about your position size might not match. Like you might be trying to get in with $100, but Weeks is telling you you're getting in with $300. Be very careful. But that's only happened on super volatile events. Like that day, that Pingu dropped 80%. That day, that's a super volatile event. People were getting absolutely wrecked when that thing was dropping because it dropped 80%. Like there it is. It's massive. But we were lucky because we shorted it here during the normal market hours. We got short right there during the live stream. So this happened end of day. Look at that wick. That is a massive volatility event. So if you try to open positions it might not look like it, but if I just put shift left click right here at this price, that little bit of a move is 11%. It was doing that in minutes, right? You were seeing 12 and 15% 1 minute candles. Then when you got down here towards the bottom, just this spike is 30%. And this happened instantly. Because we went down here and that's when I closed the trade. I closed the short right here. Like there was very little wick left. I got a picture of it. And I got filled, but it was a shitty fill because it was so volatile. It's moving 20, 30% per second. So you might experience something like that. Just be extremely careful and maybe don't try to put on positions when it's extremely volatile. And you'll be okay. But you can still trade. You can still trade. I have never once not been able to trade on weeks. Yeah, here's the image if you want to see it for anybody that doesn't believe me. Right here. So we actually took profits up in here because that's a normal move. That's a normal short, right? You can see how small the candles are. So when we got that and then this second candle right in here, that's when I started scaling out of my position. So when this happened, this blow off, see how very small wick is there? I caught that right here. As soon as I copied the picture, I instantly hit flash sale. So instead of getting out with $698, that's on a $47 position size with 20x leverage. That's a 1,480% return. So obviously I wish I didn't take profits that day. I would have made 30 grand. You know what I mean? That sucks. But it is what it is. You can never predict that shit. But we do catch these types of moves because we get in at really good areas. Look at that short. That's sexy. Bing, right there at that 4-hour high. We caught all of it. But the best trade would have been a long right here. You'd have made a couple 100% in just a few minutes. But yeah, they'll let you trade. Just be careful. The fills can be wonky and wacky, but that's only because of volatility. If volatility is normal, it's a great exchange. I have no problems. I don't have any problems even with that. I know what I'm doing. IBM is a crypto company now. Yeah, right? IBM. Hang on, let me pull up IBM. I haven't even looked at that ticker in so long. Do they even make computers still? I think they do. They make like servers and stuff like that, right? Look at that. I remember when you could buy IBM home desktops. Damn, dude, this stock is on fire. These are business. IBM's more for businesses. I think nowadays that company's on fire, man. It's doing better than the crypto world is. They just had earnings just a couple days ago. So they're building data centers and who knows what nowadays. IBM's a crypto company. That's funny. Microsoft is not solely the OpenAI partnership will likely lead to acquisition. Good, because then that means we'll get to trade OpenAI. We'll be able to own it. A company that I am waiting for and can't wait to be able to participate in is Anduril, a weapons grade company that uses AI. Right now, the only way to play Anduril is through Kraken. It's a very low float penny stock though, KRKNF. These guys, Kraken is the name of the company, but it's not the exchange. It's not the cryptocurrency exchange. It's a battery manufacturer. They make batteries for one of Anduril's drones. I think it's the submarine drone, if I'm not mistaken. But I obviously want this thing to pull back a little bit. I don't want to buy it at 464 because I don't know when Anduril is going to become public. So I don't want to, I don't know. I want this thing to pull back a little bit. It's been on an absolute tear for a long time. 2 years. So it's been out there. People have known about it. It's just, it really didn't start experiencing significant growth until last month. You were sub $1 back here. You're at $5 up there. So I would love to see this thing pull back to like $3.30, $3. If it could pull back and hold support there, I will buy some shares of it. For long-term hold. This isn't a day trade. This thing doesn't move enough to be a day trading small asset. Usually assets under $5 are moving big. I mean, it's moving big, but not like 30-40%. Just be careful. It could be getting overdone up here at these levels. But yeah, I like Anduril. I can't wait for it to become public. And I want to see AI companies become publicly traded companies. I want to see some of the big, like the flagship AI leaders, the industry leaders. I would love to see at least one or two of those tickers. Then when we start seeing just random AI company SPACs and whatnot, yeah, then we can say, yeah, this is an AI bubble. But the amount of potential value that AI can provide across all the market space, especially the tech space, medical space, weapons, this is just starting. It really is just starting. If you think about AI as a chatbot and only as a chatbot, then yeah, obviously it's a little bit overblown, right? But if you look at AI and all these other industries, what it could do, and not to mention quantum computing, they're talking 2030s. I don't know anything about quantum computing. I am not a physicist, but I know it's a game changer. And like once quantum computing and AI get combined, the applications will be almost like boundless. Like there's literally no ceiling to what some. There are industries that haven't even been invented yet. You know what I mean? There will be whole industries that have not even been invented yet. That's what I'm talking about. So yes, I can see what you're saying when you say bubble. I get it. The AI, I mean, hell, the S&P's at $6,000. It's like almost at $7,000. That sounded crazy last year. Just last year. Let alone this year. Like last year, talking about a $6,000 S&P. And we're there pretty much. 68, 67 is where the cash SPX is right now. Yeah, it seems like it's a bubble, but I'm telling you, man, they could be medical breakthroughs, cancer, you name it, right? You name it. The applications are infinite, and this bubble could go on for another 20 years. So be careful when you say bubble. Just understand that this is still new tech, very new. Like you said, robots aren't even in homes yet. Wait till robots are in almost every home. Then you can be like, this bubble's gotta go sometime. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. I don't want to go on a tangent. I gotta get some food. You guys have a fantastic rest of your IBM is leveraging AI, quantum, and crypto, the full stack. Dino company pulling new tricks. Well, their stock looks like it. They're trading at all-time highs. It's a beautiful stock too. It's an investable stock. Whenever I look at a chart like this, to me, I see growth. I see value. It's consistent. I mean, not at these evaluations, probably. Maybe not. But half of that, yeah, I could put money to work there. Absolutely. I'm looking just back here. That's 20 years of data. 20 years of data. It's shown growth. That's what we want. That's what we want to invest in. Things that are growing. And it's a fresh breakout too. 1 year. 1 year. It could go much higher. And I think we're on the brink of this stuff. I swear, I don't see. I'm telling you, these things can go up for another 2-3 years, guys, easily. Like, easily. Maybe not crypto. Maybe something else is going on there. Like dollar strength. I don't know what's hindering it. I can't find a good, legitimate answer other than there just isn't the demand up at these prices for Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin keeps failing to go higher. The demand for, more Bitcoin at those prices is just not there yet. It doesn't mean it won't ever be. It doesn't mean it won't ever be, right? It just means right now it's struggling. But that's good enough for us because we can make money on it. We didn't make money on Bitcoin today. I got stopped out of it, but it is what it is. It hasn't really done anything for 2 hours. Because when we started to stream, Bitcoin started to break down. And it's failed to go lower. It's failed to go higher too. Maybe people are just waiting for MicroStrategy earnings this evening. We'll see. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you guys trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.